Hello everybody, welcome back to Goals Grind with Josh. Today's segment is on social media and its effect on our mental health, the social dilemma that we face on a day-by-day basis. And I'm going to go through some quotes that I've actually found really interesting, some chilling quotes as well, chilling statistics from what I've watched recently, which is The Social Dilemma, which was one of the most engaging documentaries that I've seen. I kind of just wanted to share some of my insights based off of that documentary, explain just the impact of social media on my life, and then number 3, we'll go through some actionable steps to manage our feelings and managing our control over social media on our life, as opposed to having social media control us. Right now I'm just going to go through some quotes that I felt were chilling and resonating, eye-opening quotes. One statistic that I found was extremely alarming, and it's no wonder. We are dealing with a pandemic within a pandemic, in which we are forced to look at social media to connect with others. But at the same time, it's like a double-edged sword in which we are hindered by it as well, mentally. We're seeking validation from other people that we may not even know that well, but we're seeking validation from them just as it was important to have validation from loved ones or friends. But an alarming statistic that really opened eyes for me was child suicide rates have soared up to 150% in the past decade. 150%. Self-harming by girls aged 10 to 14 has nearly tripled. Now, growing up with social media in the high school setting, even a little bit in the middle school, but more so in the high school setting, especially now, with the girls in this generation, in which everything is judged by their beauty, their attractiveness, and if they don't feel, and always seeking that validation from others to feel beautiful, to feel validated in their attractiveness to others. Social media really puts the pressure on these girls who still yet to develop their sense of groundedness and identity, self-identity, and just being okay with who they are and their bodies, and every body is going to be different, and that's okay. That's the beauty of us. We're all created differently, but when put on a social media platform, we continually compare ourselves with others, and especially at a young age like that, the emotional maturity has still yet to develop that self-love for who you are. It is so mentally damaging. And not just for girls, just for everyone in general. Emotionally damaging if we don't get the validation that we seek. And social media puts that pressure on us. Another set of quotes that I found were pretty interesting were, "We are training and conditioning a whole new generation of people that we are uncomfortable or lonely or uncertain or afraid. We have a digital pacifier for ourselves that is kind of atrophying our own ability to deal with that." So just let that quote stick. This type of environment that we're now in, this digital environment, now we're forced to be in because of quarantine, is not allowing us to naturally deal with feelings of being uncomfortable, feelings of being lonely, uncertain, afraid, and just sitting with that. Just letting that pass through you. Have all those, because all those feelings are perfectly normal. It's perfectly normal to feel all that. I feel that all the time, especially during this quarantine. And it's just been just through experience of just naturally just dealing with that, sitting with those feelings, and removing myself from social media setting in order to seek that validation from others. Removing myself from that has allowed me to naturally deal with those feelings. Another quote here is, when we were making, or from the Social Dilemma documentary, when we were making the like button, our entire motivation was, can we spread positivity and love in the world? The idea that fast forward to today and teens would be getting depressed when they don't have enough likes, or it could be leading to political polarization, was nowhere on our radar. So even something just as the like button, in which I found myself guilty as a kid growing up of wanting to get more likes, from people. It doesn't even matter, who it was. I just wanted more likes because I was comparing myself with other kids who were getting more likes. And then I had to sit with the feeling of unworthiness because I was not getting as enough likes as someone else. And the person who was getting more likes was more popular than me, was worth more than me. When now, of course, looking back at it, that is not the case. Not the case at all. But this simple thing as the like button, that we can attribute our feelings of worth, self-worth to, is so mentally damaging. Because it's so easy to do so easy to succumb to that. The last quote that I wanted to talk about is this one that really, really resonated. We curate our lives around this perceived sense of perfection because we get rewarded in these short-term signals, hearts, likes, thumbs up, and we conflate that with value, and we conflate it with truth. And instead what it is fake brittle popularity that's short-term and that leaves you even more, and admit it, vacant and empty before you did it. Because that enforces you into a vicious cycle where you're like, what's the next thing that I need to do now? Because I need it back. Thinking about that compounded by 2 billion people, and then think about how then people react to the perception of others. This quote really resonated with me just because of my experiences, just because of what is happening in the world right now, and how easy it is to put your self-identity into the social media in terms of likes, the hearts, comments. It's so easy to do so. But value comes from within, what you perceive, what your center consists of for value. What do you truly value in your life? Everyone is different. If we just took a moment to just stop, we should stop comparing ourselves to others and just compare yourself to yourself. What do you truly value? What are your fundamental principles that are most important to you, regardless of what other people perceive? That's a question that we can ask ourselves once we have that urge to put ourselves or attach ourselves to the self-worth of social media through likes, hearts, comments. I want to elaborate more on the impact of social media in my life. I created a new social media account with the focus of trying to achieve all these different challenges and stuff or whatnot. In reality, I felt myself becoming more like someone who I was not. I did not feel centered. I was having other things, ideas kind of dictate my actions as opposed to looking from the center outwards and looking at what I truly wanted and what my principles were, how I was going to act on those centered principles. But instead I was kind of reacting instead of being proactive. I found myself becoming a lost version of who I was before. And I never want to have that feeling of being someone else for the sake of satisfying that constant need and constant urge to please others through content. I just never want to have that feeling again, because it feels like my life is being controlled by external circumstances as opposed to being controlled from within. I had to take a break for months, maybe like four or 5 months it's been since I've been actively engaged on Instagram and TikTok, because of me becoming a lost version of who I was before. Even though it looks like on the outside everything is okay, from within there was an internal conflict that I had to deal with by removing myself from these platforms, in which it was so easy to get lost into the external circumstances that can influence my decision making. And those months away from social media has really brought me so close with myself. It developed my emotional capacity muscles to the point where now I'm always looking from the inside out as opposed to looking from the outside in, seeking validation from outside to affect me emotionally, internally. I've dealt through those feelings of loneliness, dealt through those feelings of those urges of trying to seek out for constant validation, more likes, more views, more followers, etc. But during that time I just focused on what's really important in my life. So now that I've reached a state where I'm now emotionally mature enough to handle the reactive environment that the social media environment puts on me and puts on everyone else, we must first be able to deal with what's within in order to handle the storm that is occurring around us. And honestly, I think that has been my gift, to be calm in the midst of the storm. But that internal conflict within me was, there was this inner storm that I had to resolve. And now I'm emotionally mature enough to be calm in the midst of the external circumstances, which are the storm that surrounds me within the social media environment. So we're gonna conclude this with some actionable steps to manage those feelings. And just recently, what I have done, as I've said before, is just eliminate myself from looking at any of social media, like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Snapchat, even any of that stuff. Eliminating yourself from that environment, allowing yourself to deal with these feelings of loneliness, remove yourself from the addictive behavior of just being on your phone all the time, looking for notifications, looking for, you have that phantom urge to pick up that phone. You feel it vibrate, but in reality it doesn't vibrate. That is signs of addictive behavior. And just being able to just sit without looking at your phone and separating yourself from what you're experiencing at the moment, and just to do something that you've always wanted to do during that time, instead of seeking out of through boredom or validation or anything on your phone. Do something else that's going to reward yourself, particular hobby or things that you're passionate about that you've kind of left out, or develop a new hobby or new habit, something that you wanted to explore. Do that during that time that you feel the urge. And just recently I also turned off all notifications from social media dating apps, all social media. That has been a liberating experience for me as well. That's been a game changer, an absolute game changer, just to turn off the notifications, because now you don't expect those things. You don't expect the vibrations, and you just pick up the phone, whatever you want, and then you go to those certain apps, and if there are notifications on there, then great, then you can choose to respond to that or not. And if not, then that's okay as well. You weren't necessarily expecting any notifications or anything like that. And that has been a liberating experience for me, because always when there's something that pops up, first you feel that vibration, or you hear the sound of that notification, and there's a constant battle in your head of, okay, do I respond to this notification right now or not, or do I leave it alone or whatnot. There's this constant mental battle that is occurring all the time. Instead of that, now you can naturally just pick up the phone and then respond to whatever you have going on during that time, and put the phone back away. And you naturally just pick up the phone, as opposed to you're conditioned to respond right away or do something with your phone once that notification goes off. So what I'm getting at is developing the sense of power from within, that you are in control of what goes on, and not having other external factors in social media control you. Because once you have that power from within, it doesn't matter what the storm is that is occurring around you. It doesn't matter how bad it is or whatnot. As long as you are in control of yourself, your actions, you're responsible for all of that, you accept that, you sit with that, you're grounded in that, then nothing else should affect your mental state. Because you're just so powerful in who you are, and know who you are, what your values are, what you contribute meaning to, what you attribute your feelings of worth to for yourself. All of that is validated within yourself, not through anything external. Alright, so this one was a heavy video, but it's definitely, I feel, a very important message to send, especially for preteens, teenagers, even young adults, even adults like me, 25, still dealing with the sense of self-identity during this time. And if I'm dealing with something like that, even right now, then I can't imagine what it would feel like for a preteen or teenager having to constantly fight that mental battle within themselves through social media, while developing their self-identity and sense of self-worth. So hopefully this video was valuable to you. If it was, leave a like, leave a comment, share it. But again, it's not the purpose of this to validate me. It's just to continue to provide my value to others, and to help you, and to give back from what I've learned from my experiences. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, Goals Grind with Josh. I'll see you. Take care.